Welcome back. So in this lecture, let's understand how to mock HTTP requests and purpose of mocking it. So right now, when you select this library every time, so in the request every time the author name is going as a Shetty. So let's say you logged in into this app using Shetty account. So that's why at runtime based upon your user ID, this is getting pre-populated. That what if I enter author name as another user? Okay, so you should not be able to view that, right? Because you are into Shetty account, so that's why you are able to see the books from this library which is related to Shetty, because you are authorized to see only the books of Shetty author. Okay, let's say there is another author called Malhotra. So in your account from your portal, you cannot view the books of Malhotra, and that when you try to view that, then you should get an forbidden 403 status code. Do you know about that? 403 status code says that you are not authorized. We generally get as a forbidden. That server understood your request but refuses to authorize it. Okay, so it should tell that as you are not the right user, I will not give the details for you. And that is what you want to test, and you want to make sure that data here should not display. It should give me error saying that you are not authorized to view the books. But can you test it using front-end automation tools? No, you can manually also, you cannot test it. Okay, so how do you test it manually? You can do it, but using external middleman tools like Fiddler, or there are some burp suite, there are some proxy tools which will help you to intercept your request. But from your regular testing, you cannot check it, because whenever you click virtual library, always it is showing the books of Shetty. Okay, if you want to see that what happens when the books of Malhotra are hitting, how can you manually test it? Because on this button click, by default your backend front end code is just giving you the books of Shetty. But if someone asks you to check Malhotra books, even you cannot do it through manual testing also. You should bring some other tools like as I said, Fiddler and burp suite. But using Cypress, yes, not only testing manually, you can also automate it by intercepting your HTTP requests. Okay, let's see how to do that. For that I will create another class. Now I am going to use another syntax of intercept. If you remember, I told you in the beginning that intercept comes with different syntaxes. Okay, so it's up to you what you have to use. In our case, now to show and demonstrate this, I will be using this one, cy.intercept, a method, URL and root handler. This is one of the way to declare intercept. Okay, so what is the method of that HTTP call? That's a get, right? So get, and next you have to pass the URL. Obviously you know the URL of it. This is the regular URL. So we are just asking Cypress to keep an eye again for this request to happen. Okay, so once this request got triggered, and you know when this will get triggered, this will get triggered when you click on that browse library, right? When that button got clicked, this will be triggered. And here this is a request, right? Now you can take this request details. Let me write in other line. Yeah, so all the details what you entered are now captured in the request object here. That's what root handler. Okay, so URL and the method, everything is now captured here, and I can start writing to modify this object now. Okay, on this request object, now I will modify this URL. You see, you can modify this URL method by giving a new URL here. So this is the original one, right? Author name Malhotra, right? So in this manner, on this request property, and I told you like how you can find request object properties here. Instead, in the previous lecture, the whole syntax is different. Don't get confused. Here This syntax take request object as a first parameter and response as a second parameter. This you can use if you want to mark your response. But if you want to mark your request, then I would recommend you to use another syntax of this. This is exclusively to marking your regular request. And now on this request object, it yields, these two will yield a promise, and we resolve that promise. Now on that object, we are modifying this URL to this URL. Okay, new URL. After you modify the URL, you can hit a method called continue on your request object. When you call this method continue, then what happens? Then this request is being sent to the server. Okay. Okay, one second, I missed this. So once you are yielding the promise, you are writing everything inside this block. Okay, right. So this method now will hit the server with the modified request. So modified request is being sent, and once you send to the server, you get a response back. So that response you can again collect as the reference variable here in the response object, and on this response object you can put any validation on your response object. Okay, so in our case now, so we modified a request object and we sent to the server and we got response back, and now you want to verify whether that response dot status code is 403, because we just realized that when you are trying to reach your server with another user instead of Shetty, if you go with Malhotra on your Shetty account, then your API call should give you back a 403 error and say that you are not authorized. Okay, so this is how you can check with Cypress. So right now our application will just give the data even if you give with any user, because we did not implement any security as of now in this application, but your test should fail, right? So ideally we are expecting 403, and now your test should kick you saying that I got 200 success. But don't run, we still did not click on that button. So this is like only intercepting. So we are giving the knowledge like what to do when you receive this request. So in the earlier lecture, we told that when you receive this request, go and mark this response. In this file, we are saying that when you receive this request, first modify your input request and then send it to server with continue method, and that will yield response object. On that response object, we are putting validation that it should be status equal to 403. Okay, and all this intercept we have to yield, right? Yield it into one reference variable. Let's say dummy URL like this. We need to resolve this promise because this intercept method yield a promise. So you can say wait until this is resolved. Put that in a quote. But you missed one prime thing, that first to make all this request call happen, first you have to click on that button, right? If you don't click that button, this will never get activated, because this method will be called only after you click on this button. If you don't click on this button, this method will never be called, and this will be never be stored, and there is no point in what you are doing now. Okay, right, let's see. I will save the project. It should fail for us because our app right now is not having that mechanism. So it should kick us with fail. Fake test 2. Okay, what happened here? It says it returned 200, but we want 403 expectation. So that's why it failed. So right now this is still loading here because your test failed here. Okay, it failed at line number 17 only. So this intercept method did not finish. So but we are telling wait until this got finished. How it will wait? Because it failed at line number 17 only. So it interrupted in the middle and it did not yield anything. So it is waiting until this to get yielded, right? Okay. So for now I will comment it because you saw that it's failing as it's returning 200. But let's see how that data is rendering in the output. I will save the project again. Okay. See, this time you received only one record, and this time we did not mark anything. Earlier we got like 50 records, and we also got one record. When we got one record, we are very clear that because we mocked, that's why we got one record. But why this time we are receiving only one when there is no mocking in place? Because there is no author name Shetty here. We modified our request. This time it's going with author name Malhotra, isn't it? Let's see. Right click, select this request dummy URL, and you see author name equals to Malhotra. So this time it is not using Shetty, and that intercepted request is being sent to the server using our Cypress, and the results what we are seeing here is the Malhotra results. If you see something like this in your application, then there is a big security bug in your system. Okay, even this app have that as security issue. As this is dummy app, I did not implement security issue. Okay, so if you are working in any banking application or any application which have username and password, after you log in, try to hit any endpoint with another user information, and you see if the data is loading. If it is loading, then anyone can hack it. Okay, using tools like Burp Suite and Fiddler, you can Google that tools. Using that tools, you can intercept your request, or you can do using Cypress also. So now using Cypress, I am able to see the page of another user called Malhotra. Okay, but ideally when you do a testing from your normal application, you won't see that, right? When you are manually testing the page, you will never see that. But using Cypress, we are able to mock and see how that is behaving. So in this manner, you can go ahead one step and perform security testing also using Cypress. So ideally, when you are trying to access the data which is not allowed for your user, developers will give the response as a 403. So that you have to put assertion in your code and make sure that passes. If it gives 200, that means data is coming back, and that's a security bug. So in this manner, we will modify and intercept our HTTP request to check security bugs in our application. I am not sure how many of you guys doing this now, but not only doing it manually, you can write automation security test cases also using Cypress by intercepting your request calls, and you can put validations on your response status codes like this. Okay, so that's how the Cypress power is. All right, so that's pretty much about this intercept. I hope you guys really enjoyed this, and I request you to play around this dummy app what I have, and instead of sending one single data, try to send multiple data and see that this message is not coming up, or go and mock the request and put another user and see how the data is behaving, because all these are available for practice. So that's pretty much about intercept in Cypress. Thank you.